Hey everyone, it's Jamie with Embroidery Excellence. So I know most of you know that I do patches and want to know how I'm putting them on my hats. I did this hat and this patch is sewn on. I use my embroidery machine, so I wanted to share with you how I go about doing that. I have my Wilcom E4 program up, and so I'm going to pull in the patch that I do and show you. So let me show you a few things first. On the Wilcom E4, I don't know how many of you have it, but you have import embroidery, import graphic. You can also come over here to file, open a design, open recent. When you open a design or open recent, you have saved it as an EMB file. When you import, that means you saved it as a DST or something else. So I'm going to import an embroidery file. I have all my embroidery on my server and I have it under embroidery. I'm looking for the bay patch that I have on my hat, so I'm going to do a little search for my bay. There's my bay patch. It's an OU1 file, so that's my Bardin, but I also have it as a DST. So here's my DST patch. I'm going to open this up in my program. This is the same patch that I have on this hat right here. So what I'm going to do is, I've already done the patch. I need this piece right here, but I need it as a running stitch. So I'm going to take out the background. I'm going to leave the letters in there just in case, because as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of space there, so not a whole lot of space to say grace about. So I need to copy this border. This border is the exact size that I need. And I need to take it and make it a running stitch. So in order to do that, I'm going to hit Control C, which is a copy, but up here you can see copy and paste as well. So if you Control V, which is paste, it will paste it right on top, and you just move it over. So I have two, my original and right here my copy. So what I want is, I need this to be a running stitch. So if you look across your bars here, you see outlines. Well, here's running stitch, sculptured run stitch, triple run. I just need a basic run stitch. So it gave me a basic run stitch on top of it. So I'm going to come in here, you can see it. I want to take that. As you can see, that didn't work very well. Z. Control Z brings it all back. So it did not turn it into the running stitch that I hoped it would. Now I'm new at this program, so I run into little things here and there and I forget what I've done. So I'm going to delete that one. So over here you have basic shapes. I'm going to take the circle basic shape, wherever it went. There it is. Whoop. Circle basic shape. And I'm going to make this a circle. And you notice it's filled. But right here we can see that this is a 2.5 by 2.5. But I'm not too worried about that right now. So we have this solid. You can then come over to the outlines and hit running stitch, and voila, you have a running stitch. So I'm going to put it in the middle. And as you can see, it's not where I need it to be. But you see these squares right here. You can pull it up. And I pull it up into it just a hair. Gives me just enough space because I don't want to go outside and I don't want to be in it too much, because when I'm holding it, you know that you have to push it down and everything like that. So as I come up and come around, I'm looking to see if I need to change it. It looks good. So I've got this thing, move this up just a hair. There. You've got your running stitch in there. So if you take the red out, it's gone. And then you can take the rest of it out. And there's your running stitch. You will then save that onto your stick as a DST, or what file you need it to be, and that is your stitch that you need for putting on your hat. I run it, place it, and then run it one more time. Please make sure to slow down your embroidery machine to about 300, because you definitely don't want to be having your hand on that patch while it's going about 700. So I'm going to go ahead and take all this information over to my embroidery machine, and I'm going to show you how I do this. So just hang on to your horses and we'll be right back. I'm ready to do my hat. I've got my circle, my patch, and I've got my card. So I'm ready to do this. So we've got my hat, my piece of paper. Now mind you, I know there's 3 colors on here. My bay patch and my flash drive. I'm gonna do it on my Bariton. I'm not gonna do it on this one. I'm gonna do it on my big one. But I'm gonna hoop my hat. Some people have problems hooping hats. With the Bariton, it's almost like the Ricoma, but with the Bariton, you have this piece. The hat goes in between here, and with the Ricoma, you just have this piece that holds your hat down. You don't have the inside piece. So I don't need that one, so I'm gonna turn it off. Pull your hat pieces out. This is a Richardson 112. You don't really need structure with it. It's the same way as the Ricoma. Make sure your flaps are out. Underneath that lip for your cap driver, or your cap hooping, your cap hoop. And just like the Ricoma, hoops down at the bottom. I make sure all it's hooped correctly up near the bill, lined up, and it's tight. So I'm gonna come up a little closer so you can see it. Your bill should be in here, and your flap should be here. If you don't have your flap in there, then your hat will be loose and it could very well move on you. Okay, so here is where the magic happens. The magic. I am going to put on, I need to program in here my hat, or excuse me, the patch border. So I'm going to put my patch border in here. This one's old school, so it's buttons, it's not touch screen. But it works like a brick house, I tell you what. Jamie, there's my bay. Gonna import it. And of course my border on this is black, so I want to use, I've learned that you can use the 60 weight and a 65/9 needle. It gives you a finer stitch. You can do a 75/11 with a 40 weight, but I prefer the 65/9 with a 60 weight. Excuse me. Make sure everything's in there. And just like with your Ricoma or the Bariton, you gotta make sure you snap it in. So I'm in. Now, so this is where I lost my voice again. So here we have, I put the patch on the machine, or the hat on the machine, and that is my piece that I'm going to use to show you where it needs to be. The center of the hat. I'm going to trace, so I'm doing a full trace around the hat to make sure I'm not going to hit that metal piece, because with the Bariton, like the Ricoma, you can set your settings to get as close to the bill as you want. Sometimes too close. So I'm getting ready to do a stitch around the hat. So this is going at about 500 stitches per minute, and we don't necessarily need that because I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't want to get your fingers caught. So I've got the double-sided tape, which is great. You can find that at any craft store or fabric place to put on the back of the patch. It helps hold it in place. So it is an asset for me. So I truly enjoy that stuff because it's a better than just trying to hold it on without having some kind of support. I do that with all my patches. So I'm going to place it in center, make sure that my wording is correct and that I have it placed on the stitch where it needs to be. I am going to slow down my machine to about 300, 250, 300, whatever you're comfortable with, because you definitely do not want to get your fingers caught, because I made the mistake of doing it too fast one time, and that needle clipped the side of my finger and took some skin off. Now, it didn't puncture me, and I was very thankful for that, but yeah, it can get kind of crazy. So that, I'm slowing it down. It's at 650. I slowed it down to about 250 is what I did on this machine. So I slowed it down to 250 because I wasn't about to get my fingers caught in there. Since you've already done the running stitch once, you know exactly where it's going to start. So bring the camera down so you guys can kind of see it. So here's the patch. You can kind of see this up a little bit, but that's only because I only have one piece of double-sided tape on there. So I'm going to get ready and get this patch on there. As you can see, I'm going to hold it on one side. Nice and slow. Because I definitely, like I said, do not want to get my fingers caught in there and sew it to the patch for one. Because that would hurt beyond belief. You can then take this patch on the hat and clean everything up that you need to. Just going to cut it. And then your patch is on